Tell me about how this kind of happened, how you kind of find out about what was going on.
Yeah, we were just made aware of it just a couple of weeks ago, and that's our biggest concern is the timing of it. In education, we're always used to having to make cuts, but normally we have a little bit more time to prepare. And as we get ready to start school here in a month or so, that's what's really put us in a tight spot, not having enough time to really make adjustments for this notice.
Mm-hmm. What was that communication like? Was it like an email or something of that nature?
No, we just started hearing through third-hand sources, and finally it caught wind in the New York Times, I believe. So yeah, it was pretty third-hand how we heard about it.
Mm-hmm. So what's this money for? Kind of walk me through. There was 3 different things. Kind of just walk me and all of the parents through what this is.
Right. So the first is Title II funding. That's teacher and principal training. And a great example, we spent the majority of our summer just conducting professional development workshops, having our teachers come up during the summertime, paying them, paying vendors to come and do these workshops. And throughout the year, we utilize those funds for teacher and principal training. Title III is for limited English proficiency. And it's unique here in Longview. We've got students from all around the world that come here, and a lot of the students aren't fluent in English, so we spend additional resources and staff members helping them pick up the language. And then Title III is more of a just well-rounded academic instructional grant program, just utilized to facilitate what's going on in the classroom.
Mm-hmm. So school's only a couple weeks away. You just talked about that. So how does this affect your planning going forward?
Yeah, as of right now, it's really too late to make drastic cuts because we already have people on contract, and once you're on contract, you can't pull that that back despite funding sources. And so right now, we're just continuing as if the funding were there, and because we've heard that they're just reviewing and that it should be made available, but we'll just have to just watch and see as we go. We're used to having to make cuts throughout the course of a year, and so we might be in that situation for the upcoming year. In the grand scope of things, this hurts, but we're used to having reduced funding, and we always find ways to move forward, and we're going to. We're going to have a great school year. It kind of hurts to lose funding like this at the last second, but we're going to make adjustments. We're going to make decisions that are in the best interest of our students and staff members, and we're just going to have a great school year despite this poor information. The 89th legislative session, they keep describing the historic funding increases that school districts have received, but it's really been since 2019 since we received new revenue, and so despite this all this new money coming to the district, we're really having to make up for the past 4 years of not receiving new money. And so it's been a tight budget for districts across the state. There are several districts throughout the state who are adopting deficit budgets, several are just balanced budgets, but nobody's adding to their fund balance this year. And we found that to be true with our budget. It's been a very tight school year. The majority of our new funding went directly to the teachers, which is a huge need. Teachers need enhanced salaries. But there's also a lot of inflation going on in the district and things that we need in the district. And so, just like every other district, it's been a tough school year trying to balance the budget. And then to receive this information has just made it that much more difficult.
Mm-hmm. As an educator and somebody who plans money like this, how do you navigate this environment with the future of the DOE uncertain?
Well, it's just about priorities. Budgeting and finances is about what you value in a school district. And we're constantly having to throw the things that we spend money on and having to evaluate how important they are for what happens in the classroom and as well as retaining our staff members.